So, welcome to the worst view of my restaurant. Right now, we're fixing to change all that. All right, Sturgis Bar, purchase number 1 complete. Let's get some Americana going up in this mother.
What if I told you that relying purely on YouTube views to fund a car channel today is total financial suicide? It sounds crazy, but behind the scenes, the economics of car YouTube have completely collapsed over the last few years. The days of building a project car in a small garage, dropping a video once a week, and living comfortably off ad checks are officially dead. Today, the biggest operations on the platform are not just uploading videos. They are running full-blown, multi-million-dollar corporate empires, complete with commercial real estate, massive retail partnerships, and complex physical businesses. This shift goes way beyond a sudden wave of entrepreneurial ambition. The reality is that running a massive automotive channel today is a totally different beast than it was 6 or 7 years ago. The math simply does not work like it used to. The creators who saw the writing on the wall early realized that relying strictly on video views would eventually fail to sustain their operations, so they built massive businesses behind the scenes before the old playbook ran out of gas. To see why, you have to look at what the ad revenue on a successful car channel actually looks like. The numbers tend to blow people away, especially anyone assuming that a few million subscribers automatically means financial security. YouTube pulling in over $40 billion in ad revenue sounds massive, but that pie gets sliced up in very specific ways. Finance and business creators pull in high CPM rates around $25 to $50 per thousand views. Gaming channels sit way down at $1 to $4. Automotive content lands somewhere in the middle, which sounds okay until you realize those rates nowhere near cover the absurd costs of making the videos. Car content is ridiculously expensive to produce compared to almost any other topic. Building a car means buying the vehicle, stacking up expensive parts, renting a proper shop, and paying a full crew to shoot and edit everything, so it looks like a TV show instead of a security camera feed. The raw materials for a single video can easily run thousands of dollars before anyone even takes home a paycheck. On top of that, YouTube takes a 45% cut right off the top. So even with strong ad rates, what a creator actually keeps per thousand views is a fraction of the total. Add in advertiser budget drops, viewer location shifts, and random algorithm updates, and that income roller coasters constantly. Stepping beyond YouTube into real businesses is pure risk management. When a channel is burning 30 to 50 grand every single month on shop rent, crew salaries, and parts, relying on ad money alone means one bad quarter for car advertisers creates an immediate financial emergency. These creators aren't building empires just to flex. They're doing it to survive.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the first official Freedom Factory video at our very own racetrack.
Take Cletus McFarland, for example. Garrett Mitchell built one of the most successful automotive channels on the platform, pulling in over 4 million subscribers across more than 1,300 videos. But in January 2020, he pulled off what might be the single boldest business move in car YouTube history. Right before the pandemic hit, he drained his entire bank account to buy DeSoto Speedway, a 63-acre property in Bradenton, Florida, at auction for $500,000. He renamed it the Freedom Factory, and he has been completely upfront since then that it was an all-in move with zero safety net. Looking back, the genius of buying that track was how it completely flipped his business model. Suddenly, he had a permanent filming location he actually owned instead of constantly paying rental fees. The venue generates its own massive revenue through ticket sales when thousands of fans show up for Cletus and Cars events. It gives him a place to shoot motorsport content without begging other track owners for access. Best of all, it is a real estate asset that holds real value no matter what the YouTube algorithm decides to do next Tuesday. Cletus calls the Freedom Factory the ultimate content playground. Having a totally private, controlled space lets his team film on their own terms instead of working around someone else's schedule or strict track rules. It solved the single biggest bottleneck in car YouTube, which is having a safe, dedicated space to do crazy things with cars, once and for all. Since then, he has used that foundation to jump straight into professional racing, partnering with a company called Kinetic to sponsor an ARCA car while openly setting his sights on the 2027 Daytona 500. Going from a YouTube creator to a professional racing driver is the natural next phase of the business model he started when he bought that track. Every move feeds into the next, with the YouTube channel funding the empire and the empire constantly giving the channel fresh content to grow.
Guys, we did it! Welcome to the LZ compound. This place is f***ing insane, and it has been so hard keeping a secret.
Adam LZ took a slightly different path than Cletus, but it comes back to that exact same strategic mindset. Instead of buying a public venue, Adam built a massive private compound across 30 acres in Florida. It houses his content operation, his fabrication shop, and his Formula Drift racing team all under one roof. The LZ compound is a huge active hub for his cars, his LZ MFG merchandise and fabrication brand, Drift HQ, and his daily life. Anyone who drops by expecting a shiny corporate setup quickly realizes the secret to his success. The entire operation is a direct reflection of who he is as a car enthusiast, and that authenticity bleeds into every part of the business. LZMFG shows what happens when a creator turns genuine audience trust into a massive brand. Selling apparel and parts to roughly 5 million followers across his platforms works because he built real credibility on track. He is not just a guy making videos about cars. He is actually out there competing at the highest level in Formula Drift. That dual identity lets him hook two massive audiences at once, keeping DIY builders engaged with the shop content while motorsport fans follow his competitive drift season. This compound setup also solves a huge headache that most car YouTubers struggle with, which is getting the most out of their team. Having a full fabrication shop and race team on site means his crew builds the business and makes the content at the same time. A welder prepping the Formula Drift car is actively creating a highlight for the next upload. A mechanic setting up a project car is setting up the next video. The labor for the business and the labor for the channel become the exact same thing, turning what used to be a huge expense into a smooth, high-efficiency operation. Donut Media took a completely different path from McFarland or LZ, mostly because they started from a different place. Instead of individual creators building businesses out of their garages, Donut began as a digital media company that grew into a massive lifestyle brand. But even with a corporate structure, they ended up arriving at the exact same conclusion. Founded back in 2015, Donut grew rapidly before being acquired by Recurrent Ventures. From there, they built a multi-layered revenue machine that goes way beyond standard YouTube ad checks. Today, they pull in money from content licensing, major brand deals, top-charting podcasts, live events, and physical products sitting on the shelves at Walmart, all backed by an audience of over 15 million followers across their platforms. Signing with CAA in 2025 sent a massive message to the entire industry about where Donut sees its future. Creative Artists Agency works with major entertainment franchises, not typical YouTube channels. Bringing CAA on board shows that Donut views its brand as something that can expand into mainstream media and entertainment. You can see that strategy working with their podcast, Pass Gas, which consistently sits near the top of the Automotive podcast charts and proves their audience follows them off YouTube. That shift completely changes how they handle sponsors. Securing massive deals with brands like Hankook, Allstate, and Valvoline is the difference between a simple YouTube channel running quick pre-roll ads and an established media property forming long-term corporate partnerships. The former is always one algorithm update away from trouble, while the latter creates a stable media business built to last.
We just launched our 28th giveaway, and this one's gonna be a little bit different, guys. Instead of somebody taking the whole entire package, this time we're doing 2 winners, 2 separate prizes, and we got 2 insane prizes, or 2 insane cars.
Then you have the Goon Squad brothers, Simeon and Eleazar. They represent a style of business expansion that sits on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, and it has sparked plenty of debate within the community. Their merchandise site offers everything from hoodies and hats to actual bottles of hot sauce. But the real hook is their massive sweepstakes setup. Every dollar spent enters fans into giveaways for custom-built cars worth tens of thousands of dollars. The entire operation is completely legal, run through professional sweepstakes companies, and keeps revenue flowing into the channel. However, it has also drawn pushback from viewers who feel that tying merch sales to vehicle giveaways changes the channel's vibe from authentic car builds to something far more commercial. This dynamic highlights the exact tension every car YouTuber runs into when they build a business, just brought right out into the open. Does the business exist to fund the content, or has the content become an ad for the business? When a channel starts selling hot sauce bundled with giveaway entries, that answer looks a lot different than it did back when they were just 2 brothers in a Tennessee garage rebuilding a Mustang for fun. Their shop operates on a completely different logic than Elza MFG or the Freedom Factory. Adam LZ sells parts to people who actually drift, and Cletus sells tickets to people who want to watch live racing. Those businesses offer standalone value that fans would buy anyway. A sweepstakes model, on the other hand, shifts the relationship into something purely transactional, changing the original trust that built the channel in the first place.
Woo! Get you some of that. We are bar owners in Sturgis.
Now we drink.
Now we bought a bar 1,000 miles away from home that somebody's got to run.
before any of these YouTube native creators were building their empires, Richard Rawlings and Gas Monkey Garage were already laying down the ultimate blueprint. Gas Monkey is unique because it actually started on reality TV before transitioning into a massive digital operation, making Richard the earliest example of a car builder turning raw screen presence into a full-scale business network. Beyond running Gas Monkey Garage and hosting the hit show Fast and Loud, Richard built out an entire enterprise. He opened the Gas Monkey Bar and Grill, launched Gas Monkey live music venues in Texas, and inked major sponsorship deals across the industry, amassing an estimated net worth of around $18 million. The sheer scale of what he built is wild when you map it out. A full-service garage, a TV show, a YouTube channel, restaurants, concert halls, and merchandise. However, Gas Monkey also serves as a masterclass in the massive risks that come with aggressive expansion. Running physical venues and restaurants brought heavy legal and financial headaches, and his split from Discovery was pretty messy. His story proves that when a multi-million-dollar empire is built entirely around one person's face and brand, you create a whole new set of vulnerabilities that no amount of revenue streams can fully protect you against. That is the biggest takeaway for today's car YouTubers. Watching Gas Monkey gave this current generation a front row seat to the reality of the business. Diversifying your income protects you from a sudden YouTube algorithm crash, but it trades internet volatility for real-world legal and operational chaos. Cletus deals with it at the Freedom Factory, and Adam LZ deals with it at LZMFG. At the end of the day, running a physical business is just as brutal as making content, and the channels that make it look easy are usually the ones working twice as hard behind the scenes. None of those pressure points are going away anytime soon. The reality of building your entire career on someone else's platform means ad income will always be a moving target, and that instability gets way scarier as video budgets keep climbing. Luckily for these creators, the car community is basically a dream customer base. Automotive audiences are passionate, they have real spending power, and they love buying car parts, apparel, and event tickets. More than that, they build deep trust with the people they watch every week. That mix of loyal fans and genuine buying interest is the exact reason why Cletus sells out entire stadiums, Adam LZ moves tons of merch, and Donut lands products on Walmart shelves. The creators who refuse to build real businesses outside of YouTube are the ones taking the biggest gamble. One sudden algorithm shift, a drop in ad rates, or a wrecked project car that halts production can instantly freeze their income. The business is the real safety net, while the YouTube channel acts as the ultimate marketing engine. Once you see the game that way, there is no going back. The top tier of car YouTube has already merged content and business into one giant machine, and the up-and-coming creators are taking notes before they even hit their first big subscriber milestone. The days of treating a car channel as just a fun hobby funded by ad checks are fading fast. The era of the car creator as a full-blown entrepreneur is here, and it is officially the new standard. Tuna, no Crust, signing off.